Every time we make a decision, we are turning down a literally infinite number of other decisions that we could have made. I'm Colin Wright, and you are watching Consider This. These paths not taken when we decide on one particular path to take, these are called opportunity costs. These are the things that we give up when we decide on a given path. So when I decide to go to a certain movie, my opportunity cost is not just all of the other movies that I could have seen, but the literally infinite number of other things I could have done with my time in that moment in time. It's something that's kind of mind-boggling when you stop and think about it, because it makes you realize just how much potential every single moment of every day has. And it's the type of thing, too, that can really wig people out and can cause them to make fewer decisions or to be less confident with the decisions that they make. Particularly now in the age of constant connectivity with everybody else, and when we're aware of almost every other option in the world, if we choose to take the time to acknowledge these options, it's very, very easy to always feel a little bit not okay with every decision that we make. Because although I went to this restaurant and although it might be great, all of these other restaurants were also potential options. And because this restaurant is not the same as all these other ones, we can't help but wonder, did I make the right choice? Am I missing out on something at one of these other restaurants? Or am I missing out by going to this restaurant instead of going to play laser tag instead? This thought process can lead to something called paralysis by analysis. And this is something that a lot of us are familiar with probably, where instead of making decisions confidently, we instead sit and go over the details endlessly, eventually maybe making a decision but not being happy with it, but in a lot of cases not doing anything. We are paralyzed by the number of options that we have. So the way that this manifests in a lot of cases is we may want to have an adventure, or we may want to take a big risk or make a big life change, but instead of doing this, we sit and endlessly cycle through all the books and all of the blogs and watching of TED Talks. Rather than doing something, we sit and think about doing something until the point where we missed the opportunity, until it no longer makes sense for us to make that big change, or until we've missed the period in time in which we had to spend on some big adventure. Now, the best way to avoid this paralysis by analysis and this fixation on opportunity costs is to, one, realize that perfection is an ever-moving goalpost. You will never have the perfect scenario, the perfect way to spend your time, the perfect piece of work that you can produce, because perfect is not a thing that you can ever reach. It's a journey. Perfection is a journey. You're always moving towards something that's more perfect, but you will never reach perfect. And so failing to take a step until you know you can do something perfectly is a decision that will result in you never taking a step. And the second thing that you can do is honing your comfort level with failure. Because when you take a step, when you do anything, there is always a chance that you will fail, or that you will end up with something that is less than perfect. And doing this enough, taking enough steps, making enough decisions, and recognizing that a lack of perfection is not the end of the world, and in fact helps you grow and get closer and closer to something that is more ideal, that is something that allows you to take more steps more frequently, and to do so with more confidence. So is there a chance that you will take a step that ends up being in a non-ideal direction? Yes. And is there a way to avoid this completely? No, there's no way to avoid this completely. But it's important to remember that whatever circumstance you find yourself in, whatever scenario you end up creating by the decisions that you make in your life, you also have the power to determine how you respond to that. Recognizing that you have this power is something that will allow you to enjoy more of the time that you spend, whatever you happen to be doing with that time. But it's also something that allows you to take more steps more confidently moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, sharing it with your friends would be awesome. You can also give it a like or leave a comment below. If you want to find out more about me and my work, you can go to colin.io, and if you'd like to interact somewhere else on the internet, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Colin is my name. Thanks, guys.